Hey guys, JHoyt here. Before this video gets started, I just want to say thank you guys for all the support across the channel recently. But if you can hear my voice right now and you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe button. It's completely free. We put out lots of content and I greatly appreciate it. But we just had our first CDL major. Of course, now it's time for a recap. What's on, guys? JHoyt back with you today. Welcome back to Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. We got a little 30 bomb on league play in raid control. We kind of fry a little bit, but we just had our first ever major in the CDL. And of course, we made a preview with our predictions, and just like last year, we're gonna do a recap. Now that we have an official major, this counts as a championship one for your personal record, if you will. But let's just say a lot of my picks were and I can't even say they were accurate because they really weren't. But let's get right into it though. So our first matchup will start down in the losers bracket, where we actually got one whole round correct, which I loved. So first round of the losers bracket was Seattle and Florida. This one got it straightforward. Florida won this one 3-1, continuing Seattle's struggles this year. I don't know what that team's doing. Octane came out with a video and said, we suck right now, but you know what? Stay with us, if you will. I know obviously we're working on stuff, and obviously we're not happy either, but said that last year, and like, come on, Octane, you gotta show us something. Like, you gotta show us something that would lead us to put belief in you. But Florida wins that one 3-1. Predicted that one perfectly. I don't know what map counts, by the way, but at least the end winner is what I'm judging this off from. But the second matchup was the Toronto Ultra and the London Royal Ravens. So right before this event, one of London's players had to go home due to some family issues, and so of course they're already playing with a stand-in. Now they're playing with two substitutes. So they end up picking up Zed from the amateur scene, although he's a former pro player as it is, more famously in the APAC region, I believe. But he's there. He was playing with them. They somehow take this game to a game 5. So Toronto ends up winning this one, moving them on to the second round. Let's continue though in the second round of the losers bracket. And although we got the winners right of last round, this one is where we got wrong. So we predicted Florida to move on, which they did, but they ended up winning against Paris, which was something that I predicted wasn't going to happen. I thought Paris was going to win this one just due to their recent success and Florida's kind of misfortune so far. But like I said from the beginning, Florida does have that upset potential, and I didn't watch this one, but Florida did play pretty well just looking at the stats and everything. But the next matchup though, so Florida moves on 3-1. Second matchup of losers round 2 was really surprising. So Toronto won the first matchup versus London 3-2. Then they come into Minnesota Rocker, where I thought this one was going to be swift, easy, 3-0, Minnesota moves on. Not the case. Toronto ends up winning this one in a game 5, moving them on. Like, Minnesota, for your one matchup of this entire tournament, and you lose to Toronto, I don't know if it was just a matchup issue or if it was a map issue or they just didn't show up on this day. I'm not really sure, but somehow Minnesota loses this one. But hey, props to Toronto. They're going to move on to losers round 3. But in order to move on to losers round 3, we got to start up in the winners bracket because we got to drop a couple teams down. So the first matchup was Optic Chicago versus the New York Subliners. I think I predicted this one to be a 3-0, so I might be right about that one, and we got it right. Optic 3-0'd them. Looked pretty convincing. Optic came out absolutely frying, and they just looked overall really good. But of course, New York is a solid team, so I could definitely see them making a run in the losers bracket. So our second matchup, LA Thieves versus the LA Gorillas, the Battle of LA. And oh boy, did we get this one wrong. We got it really wrong. Now, I think I predicted this one to be a 3-1 in favor of the LA Thieves. LAG, the Los Angeles Guerrillas, 3-0'd them. Just 3-0. Just plain and simple, 3-0. I don't understand how. I watched part of this matchup, but yeah, LA Thieves got smoked. So somehow LA Guerrillas move on to that second round, and although they got a tough opponent next in Atlanta, you know, they still earn their spot there by the 3-0. But after getting those two losers, New York Subliners and the LA Thieves, both those guys dropped down to that losers bracket where the New York Subliners would face off against the Florida Mutineers. LA would go against Toronto. So Subliners, Mutineers, this one goes game 5. This one was a close one. I did watch a couple of games of this one. This was a close one though. Game 5 though, always close. I don't know if it was round 11, I don't remember, but I turned off this one probably at the worst time. I think I turned off after map 2. But this one was good. 3-2 game 5. New York moves on to round 4. LA Thieves though, they bounced back. They beat Toronto Ultra 3-0, and this one, I mean, plain simple 3-0, but how do you lose versus LAG but then smoke Toronto? Like, I don't understand that one. But LA and New York move on to round 4. We got dropped some more losers down to the bottom side of the bracket though. In this one, we had one Battle of the Titans, and it was going to be 2 Battles of the Titans, but then Thieves lost. So first matchup, this was the Battle of the Titans. So the Empire versus Optic, the old Envy versus Optic, you know, rivalry, and now we got Dallas versus Chicago. This one was a heartbreak for all of us Optic fans. You know, after watching this one, I was pretty devastated. I mean, game 5, round 11, I think this was the matchup that Optic won the search, the control. Yeah, I think the first search and the control, and I believe it went down to a game 5, round 11. I think I checkmate. I believe that one was where Optic kind of jumped the gun a little bit too much on one of the plays, and it cost them round in a 2v2. But super heartbreaking. Obviously, if they play that a little bit different, it probably end up winning the match. But you know what? Dallas came out. They performed. Congrats to them. They move on though. Game 5, like I said, 3-2, moving them on with a date with the winner of Atlanta FaZe and LA Guerrillas. This one, I don't understand. So LAG wins versus LA Thieves. 3-0. Plain and simple, right? They move on versus Atlanta. Then they get smoked. 3-0. Now, could have been a fluke in the first round. I don't really know, but Atlanta FaZe just walks in 3-0s, moves on to the winners finals versus Dallas. But we got to eliminate some more teams. Let's start with round 4. We got the LA Guerrillas versus the New York Subliners. This one relatively convincing, 3-1 in favor of the New York Subliners. Subliners' second match win in a row. LAG, after they lose once, they get dropped down. They lose twice, they're out of the tournament. You know, it's kind of surprising performance from LAG. They put up a good fight. Obviously, they beat one of the arguably top 4 teams in the game right now. And then they come on and get a map off New York. So props to them. I still think they need more help around Vivid. But other than that, good showing from them. I mean, they made it way farther than I expected. I think I predicted they would be out in round 3. They made it to round 4. So they beat my expectations. And New York wins this one 3-1. Moving on to our second matchup, though, we got Optic Chicago versus the LA Thieves. This one, relatively convincing, 3-1 from Optic. They played really well in this matchup. And hopefully it would build some future momentum for their next matchup that we now know would be the New York Subliners. And yeah, this is where heartbreak happens once again. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was maps or if Optic just didn't come out and start off strong or what. But New York was going up pretty heavy in the hard point. You know, they won a convincing search. They finally broke Optic's unbeaten record in control, and they win 3-0. So Subliners have made a pretty good run so far. They beat Florida, they beat LAG, and now they beat Optic Chicago with a date from the winner or the loser of the winners finals, which would be the Dallas Empire and Atlanta FaZe. And this, again, should be a battle of the Titans, right? Two of our best teams, arguably the two best teams in the game right now. And Atlanta comes out and just 3-0s them. Now, Dallas, didn't really come out strong in that one. They caught fire towards the end of the game, but they just didn't come out. So Atlanta 3-0 sweeps them, moves on to the grand finals, and Atlanta has yet to lose a map so far in this tournament. So obviously they're looking good. They move on to the grand finals with a date with the winners of Dallas and New York, which is our next matchup. And in the spirit of 3-0s, we got another one. Dallas wins this one 3-0. New York, great performance from them. If I would have had to predict before this tournament, I had them going to, I think, round 4? Yeah, I had them round 4 and then losing to Empire. They made it to losers finals, so that's huge. And obviously playing as a relatively new team with new players and a relatively inexperienced squad, they still performed really well. Props off to them. Optic finished in 4th place. New York finishes in 3rd, which is a great performance. Then we have Atlanta versus Dallas, the rematch of the winners finals. And this one, so I didn't read it I read it afterwards and obviously during the matchup, but it ended up being a best of 9 where I did watch most of these games. Obviously I was playing COD in the meantime, so I probably missed a lot of good action, but Atlanta just looked really solid. They looked really solid all throughout their entire game. They just looked unstoppable in this tournament. Although they win the finals 5-2. Remember, it's a best of 9. There's no more. You have to beat them twice. It's just gonna be a best of 9. It seems like. So I don't know if I like it, but you know what? It's what we got, and honestly, I don't really mind it. So, but they win 5-2. Atlanta looks really solid. Congrats to the boys over there, Simpa, BZ, Celium, Arcides, Crowder, and the rest of their coaching staff and their organization. Congratulations to them. Obviously, I wish you didn't win. I wish Optic would have won, but as a Call of Duty fan, congrats to you guys. And hopefully you lose some more games so that Optic can be up there next time. Totally not jinxing it, but you know what? It was a great performance all along. So our final placements of the major will go from the bottom up to the top. So these teams got no money. So London and Seattle finish 11th, 12th with no money at all. The Minnesota Rocker and the Paris Legion, 9th, 10th, both get no money. So top 8, we have the Florida Mutineers and the Toronto Ultra. Those teams get $10,000 each. Then we have 5th, 6th, which the LA Thieves and Los Angeles Guerrillas both got at $20,000 each. You have Optic Chicago getting $40,000 at Clear Cut 4th. The New York Subliners get 3rd with $80,000. The Dallas Empire get 2nd with $120,000. And our winners from the tournament, Atlanta FaZe, get 1st, of course, with $200,000. So I believe it's $500,000 in the prize pool. And I don't know if I really like the bottom 4 teams getting no money, especially when they're in the league. So they probably should get something, but only giving top 8 money, I'm not sure how I feel about that. But again, it kind of goes back to arguments my own point where participation trophies are there. But you know what? I don't know what you could do there. Maybe throw an extra 25,000 or 50,000 in there. Just give them a little something. But you know what? Maybe that's going against my own point. Not really sure. But following the major, though, we have our new Cdl Points Standings here. As you can see on your screen, Atlanta FaZe still hold 1st place with 125 points. Dallas are in 2nd with 100 points. Chicago and the New York Subliners are tied in 3rd place with 80 points. The LA Thieves are in 5th with 70 points. LA Guerrillas are in 6th with 50 points. In 7th, we have the Minnesota Roker with 40. Then we have Florida, Toronto, and Paris, all, I guess, technically tied for 8th with 30 points. In 11th, we have Seattle Surge with 10 points. And we have in last place, we have the London Royal Ravens with 0. So, not the best showing so far. And let's just say it hasn't been a good one for some of these bottom teams, but it kind of is showing, you know, some of these teams are pretty set on being, you know, probably towards the top of the leaderboard so far, and you could probably see them staying up there. I think Minnesota Rocker just didn't have a good event. Obviously, they only really had one match, so they didn't really get you know, any chance to really like warm up and, you know, play a match, beat a team, and get going. Maybe if they would have won that matchup, they could have done some more, but overall, they don't really perform this one. But it kind of solidifies kind of 5 of our top 6 teams. I think Minnesota Rocker will be there in that 6th spot, you know, moving up and down in between those couple of teams there. Florida probably sticks up in that top spot going forward. And other than that, I mean, Seattle has all the room in the world to improve on. Maybe they reach their full potential as they move forward in the league. So I think we have like a week or so off, maybe 2 weeks until the next part of the league starts in stage 2. But we have a lot to look forward to. Our 3 top teams have been kind of solidified, pretty straightforward. I mean, we kind of knew that all along. We have some surprising teams like New York and LAG. A couple of teams that are struggling with Minnesota and Seattle. I mean, Seattle's always been kind of looks good on paper, but hasn't really performed, you know, when it comes time to it. And of course, we have some teams that are just straight up struggling. So hopefully we can have some more interesting storylines once we start in stage 2. I think it's in like a week, maybe 2. But I can't wait for that to come up. But if you did enjoy this video though, make sure you hit that like button down below. Let me know your thoughts and comments from the major and future predictions for stage 2. We'll be doing a follow-up power rankings video probably this upcoming week at some point closer to stage 2. And if you haven't yet, or if you're brand new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss an upload. And as always, guys, we'll see you in the next one.